हेलो एवरीवन। वेलकम टू माय चैनल। ऐसे समय पर जब बहुत सारा कुछ टर्बुलेंट है हमारे अराउंड, वॉर चल रही हैं कई कंट्रीज में, जॉब मार्केट, स्टॉक मार्केट का अभी हमें कुछ पता नहीं बिकॉज ऑफ द टेक्नोलॉजी डिस्ट्रप्शंस। सो हियर इज वन पर्सन जिनका भी एक सेशन मैंने रिसेंटली ऑनलाइन अटेंड किया था, एंड व्हेन आई एंटर द रूम द फर्स्ट थिंग विच आई हर्ड वाज courage is contagious and I don't think कि हमें courage कोई और सिखा सकता है other than an army veteran. So today we have guest Major Nidhika Sudan. She retired from army and now she is leadership and image strategist. So thank you Nidhika for coming on my show and welcome to my channel. I guess today's episode is going to be a learning session for all of us, including me.
Thank you so much, Soumya. Thank you so much for inviting me over and making me part of your journey. That's really great. You have done a good job so far, and I'm sure you will do much, much better and great in the future as well. So, once again, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Nidhika, for your kind words. First thing I would like to know is how your childhood was and what led to you, what was the motivation behind joining army?
I am a Fauji brat, so my father was in the army. So we moved around quite a lot. Every 2 years we would pack and move. And since he was also an infantry officer, he used to get posted to places where families were not allowed. We call them field areas where families were not allowed. So my mother would take charge of the entire house. So we've seen separation. And he was sometimes available for key events, sometimes he was not available, birthdays, Diwali, Holi, most of the things missed. So that is what. And we, because of by virtue of being 4G children, so we develop adaptability and resilience quite early in our
Right.
life. So, and also we have a unique ability to connect to people, form connections, deep and meaningful connections, because we meet so many interesting people, move to so many places, and the time is limited. We'll be
Right.
moving out soon, so we do that. And by virtue of exposure to, different cities, their cultures, food, perspectives, also you become open-minded and empathetic towards things. So uh, that is how my childhood has been. And needless to say, what motivated me to join army was my dad. Yeah, we've grown up hearing stories of wars and operations and things like that. So since he's also a war veteran, he's fought 1971, and so when you're growing up hearing such stories of courage and valor, and sacrifice, you somewhere deep down, you develop or you start, developing that feeling of pride and patriotism and honor. They automatically start taking root,
Right.
right? So, and then in the college, I decided to join NCC, and that is what hit the nail on the head. It is that strengthened my resolve to join army. I attended Republic Day parade, and so I was a part of the contingent, and that gave me a sense of a different kind of an accomplishment. So
So,
that's the motivation.
army is actually challenging. I feel any corporate life is challenging, but we cannot compare it with army or defense services. So, what kind of challenges do you face during your service?
So, specifically, you say if you say most of the soldiers, they feel the emotional distance. So the training is definitely grueling. It's because the training is not just physical. It is more mental. So they do mentally break you and then they build you from the scratch. So physically and mentally, they'll first break you and then they build you. And then they lay such strong foundation that you come out to be a very strong person. Okay. So once you join army, there is always some sort of sacrificing in the on the family front. Okay, there is this, like I said, an emotional distance from one's family that you feel. You miss out on small and big moments like your child's first steps. You know, suddenly you get a call from home, oh, he just stood up. You know, that kind of a thing. So you missed out on that, and being available when parents fall ill and stuff like that. So. And like in my case, my husband was also in the army, so that tantamounted to a little more, that problem is
Challenges.
challenges, you can say, yeah, because, but then, yes, since we've prepared for it mentally, but still somewhere or the other deep inside it affects you. Okay, so we were not able to get posted to the same location or probably even nearby. So, yeah. So, single-handedly doing justice alone to your work and your family, it took a toll and it takes toll mentally and physically. So, yes.
And how much it is more difficult for a woman to face all those challenges.
Yeah. So this is a very good question that you asked, and I'll say that this is being in the army has been the best phase of my life, undoubtedly. So the first challenge that a woman faces is the pressure of representation. You understand? When we are lesser in number, we just, statistically speaking, we are just about 3.8 to 4% in the army
Okay.
only. Okay, that's a very less number. In Air Force, it's a little more, maybe 11 to 13%, and in Navy it is about 8%, 6 to 8%, but Army it is just about 3.8 to 4%. So you can imagine what goes on inside us. Okay, so we are not just seen as an individual, we are seen as a representative of your entire gender. That's the
Right.
problem. So if you fail at something, it is not that she cannot do this, it is women can't do this. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a hell of a lot of pressure. So then is you cannot show weakness. Now finding as an army officer, finding the balance between being a tough officer, okay, and showing the right amount of empathy and emotions, that in itself is a different leadership journey. So
Very true.
yeah, so the challenge is never the terrain or the task. Okay, it is always the constant effort of being seen as an officer first and a woman second. So yeah, it's a continuous process. We are breaking the glass, women are breaking the glass ceilings, and we can say one brick at a time. And a lot of things have changed, perceptions are changing, people are overcoming the age-old unconscious gender biases. So future is looking positive and bright. So and I learned a lot during this journey. That has made me who I am today. And I'm thankful for that. Strong and confident. You can say I found my actual strength in all this.
I think it's a matter of courage to join army. And for any women, even if they are going out for any corporate life, or for women who are not supposed to, I mean, there are women in India who don't get that benefit of taking the right education or taking up a job or having their own financial independence. It takes a lot of courage. And this reminds me of a dialogue of this movie called Dangal, where she goes for Dangal for the first time, and the organizer say to Amir Khan कि आपकी बेटी ने तो इतने strong opponent को choose किया है, so she is going to lose this uh, दंगल today. So he said दंगल लड़ने से पहले डर से लड़ना पड़ता है. And लाइफ में कुछ भी करने से पहले आई थिंक डर से लड़ना पड़ता है. यू आर गोइंग फॉर एन इंटरव्यू, यू आर टेकिंग अप अ जॉब, यू आर टेकिंग वन एजुकेशन जो आपको लगता है कि कोई आईएएस बनना चाहता है, कोई इंजीनियरिंग करना चाहता है, या वॉट एवर दे आर टेकिंग. गोइंग आउट ऑफ योर कंफर्ट जोन नीड्स अ लॉट ऑफ करेज. सो कई लोग करेज नहीं कर पाते अपनी लाइफ में. हाउ यू कुड बिल्ड दैट करेज इन यू, and how should others should build this in their life?
Okay, so it's for women and for everyone in
Everyone. It's for
general.
everyone.
Yeah, okay. So I would, so there's a very wrong notion that people have, people misunderstand courage. They think that, it is, courage is the absence of fear. Okay. So, but that is not the case. Courage is simply action in spite of fear. Okay. So when soldiers go for war, like I give this example to a lot of people and tell them that when soldiers go for a war, it's not that they're not scared or that they don't fear anything. They fear, but there is so much of training happening that despite of the fear, they still go. So we've been trained, and we have been trained so much that it gets inculcated in our system that we
Right.
take action despite fear. So irrespective of what the outcome, maybe we just move ahead. Okay. So likewise, on the same lines, I would advise that start small, right? It's a progressive habit. It cannot be built in one day. कि कहीं
Right.
से आज है ना, लाइक कि आज मैं प्लेन से कूद जाऊंगा, नहीं, आप ऐसे नहीं कर सकते, आप एकदम से कुछ इतना बड़ा नहीं कर सकते. इट हैज टू स्टार्ट स्मॉल. सो ट्राई टू सीक आउट माइक्रो discomforts every day. Chota chota. Okay. Like go for a walk without any earphones. Don't listen to music. Just go out and move around. You be one with the nature. Observe your surrounding. It is going to be very difficult because your system is so tuned to listening to music when you're walking or you're working out. Don't do that. It's a discomfort. So, setting boundaries with people. So if somebody who's very near and dear to you, or maybe a friend, or probably a person good, well known to you, asks for a certain favor from you, but you are not able to do that because you're already doing something which is very important for you, and it cannot be let go of. So learn to set boundaries, say a healthy no to them. It is uncomfortable, and it is difficult, but then you have to do that. Then, instead of scrolling mindlessly on the phone, just pick up a book initially. It'll be difficult. You'll keep looking at your phone. Abhi utha लूं, अरे book का क्या है? But when you will keep staring at that page for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, you will realize that, oh, this is something interesting. Then you'll go from one page to the other. So that is how you'll develop a habit. Okay. So these are the micro habits which make you a little uncomfortable in doing things. So start doing them. Okay. The goal here is not to suffer. The goal here is to prove to your nervous system that you can handle a challenge and come out okay on the other side, right?
Right.
So these are the steps. This is how you build courage.
And for building these micro habits, I feel that is very important. And at one point, everyone, especially if I talk about myself, I felt that I hated discipline because I thought this is like so much of restriction around it. But now, what as I have kids now, I feel that discipline is very important. It helps me to be more productive now. So, how can one develop that discipline?
Okay. So, like you have said that, to build courage, discipline is very important. You've already answered that question. So, when we talk of discipline, the most misunderstood thing is everybody says, oh, discipline, it is directly proportional to punishment. No, discipline does not mean punishment. Okay. First, we need to get rid of that mindset. Okay? Because in reality, discipline is the highest form of self-love. Right? It is the art of doing what you said you'd be doing.
Right.
So it is choosing what you want the most over what you want right now. Okay. And
Correct.
to do so, you have to build small rituals, like we said about the courage. The same thing applies here in discipline. You have to build some systems around yourself, not just resolutions that I'm going to do this. Okay. Just by saying it does not work. So since our willpower is infinite, it generally happens that, because of some reason, it runs out. Now, it is these rituals and systems that you establish or build around yourself are the ones which are going to sail you through. They will take you over. They will take over automatically. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah. So simple things like, you wake up at 6, I'll wake up at 5:45, 15 minutes prior to your time. Okay. Drinking 3 liters of water. Going for a walk despite commitment. जितना मर्जी हम busy हैं, लेकिन मैं 15 मिनट जाऊंगा, चाहे मीटिंग है, जो भी है, मीटिंग कर लिया, ये कर लिया. Things which can wait will be put on hold. I'll wear my sport shoes and I'll just move out for a 15 minutes walk. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah. And do not pick up your phone the first thing in the morning. That is the biggest distraction, which will definitely shake the foundation of your discipline. So leave the phone aside, okay, and set priorities. That this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do first. This is what I'm going to do second, okay, and ensure that you stick to it. Draw a timeline, okay. So don't say at 11 o'clock I'm going to do this. है ना, from 11 to 12 I will do this. No, so set clear timelines for yourself. Okay, I will go on a coffee break from 10 to 10:15, and 10:15 I will be there. Clear timelines, okay, and ensure that you stick to it. So, you know, I mean, this is a very vast topic. I can go on and on because I am a trainer, so I enable people in this field. But simply put, courage will get you started, but discipline will get you to the finish line.
And as you talked about going for a walk, how important is physical health? We all know that we should eat healthy, we should do minimum exercise, and we should take proper rest. So, what should be schedule of a normal citizen that they should follow in their day-to-day life so that they can be more productive in whatever they are doing, whether they are students, whether they are professionals? How much of physical exercise is important and how it impacts our mental health?
Okay. So, being healthy is a fad nowadays. It is picking up pace. So, irrespective of where you come from, thanks to social media. However, I would advise to refrain from it. And because there are a lot of people who are just advising you, and there are things that may not suit your body because we're genetically made different. One is that. Two is everybody's body is different. The diet which may suit you might not suit me. Okay.
Right.
And so just stick to your normal eating habits, what you eat, where you've been. So, see, there are specific food that grows in specific regions because of some reasons. Okay. So don't get too fancy about things. Okay. Don't start eating which is not, which doesn't naturally grow in your area. Okay, just because some influencer has said so. So there is a lot of misconception also floating around. We want a certain kind of a body because that person looks like that. So please don't follow them. So firstly, before I say anything, I would just advise that firstly stop doing that. Follow people who have checked their backgrounds. Okay, not just because they look good and they are good appealing on the screen. No, don't, and they have all those fancy stuff going on in the video. So follow people who have the background which is supported by medical evidence, like they are doctors, they're physicians, they're nutritionists, so please follow that. And you know we all of us, we due to our personal and professional commitments, all of us, we neglect our health. We're not able to take care of health.
Right.
So it is very important to take out time for ourselves. We have to respect our bodies, and we have to, self-love, like I said, is very important. So there is no firewall. We have to understand between our body and our minds, right? So if your body is sluggish, your decision making becomes reactive instead of responsive, or instead of being proactive, right? So it affects your cognitive endurance and your stress resilience. Okay, so the you are, just because you're not healthy, you are not resilient to stress, and then more prone to more health issues. Okay, so one has to understand that your body sends signals to your brain, and then your brain also accordingly acts. They have to be in alignment with each other, right? So maintain a schedule for rest. Give equal importance to rest, to nutrition, to mindfulness and exercise. Now, mindfulness, well, I say there's nothing grand that you have to do. Meditation is a proven method to relax your nerves and your nervous system, to calm it down. However, a lot of people cannot do this. Just sit down, okay, and just do deep breathing for a minute or two. That in itself will regulate your blood flow, calm down your nervous system. Okay. And as far as my this exercise is concerned, I would advise a mix of strength and cardio. Okay. So don't stick to one particular routine. Keep changing. Your body has to be challenged every now and then. So don't make your body comfortable also when you're exercising. So because if your body gets used to a certain kind of an exercise, then it is not giving any particular benefit to your body. But the key to this entire process is to be consistent. If you are not consistent, then nothing works out.
And how important it is for women because we go through different cycles in our life, right? We teenage is different from when you take motherhood and then perimenopause, menopause. There are various cycles we go through. Is the strength training important for women as well? And how much should we and at what age any girl or woman should start doing strength training?
Because for teenagers specifically, I would say not required. For be it, it is not gender specific, be it a female or a male. Teenagers should just go out and play. Okay, because their bodies are just now, developing. So their
Right.
ligaments and muscles, they're all tender, they're developing. So they need not go to hit the gym. The teenagers need to just pick up one sport. कोई भी एक आप अपने स्कूल में कर लो, अपने सोसाइटी में खेल लो, कुछ भी, anything, पकड़न पकड़ाई, or basic things, if you don't have access to a basketball court, doesn't matter, don't fret over it. You don't have access to a football court, doesn't matter. So whatever your school is capable of providing you, please go ahead and follow one, take up any one sport. Okay, just keep your body moving, play, play, play. But for women, once they enter their 20s, so because we go through a lot of hormonal disturbances in our body, there is upheaval when you in your teenage, then when you get married, you have children, and then perimenopausal state like I am in, and then you hit menopause. So you have to prepare your body for that. And it is scientifically and medically proven that when you do strength training, so it affects your, it lowers your cortisol level, and it helps you keep your hormone imbalance in check. So it helps. Okay. So women should start training themselves instead of, suddenly start picking up weights in the 40s. It is always better that you start doing it at an early age. And now, when I say weight, nobody has to become a pehelwan. Okay, and so it's just that, so we and don't have to worry about it. I'm going to look very masculine. No, you will not look masculine unless the only thing that you're doing in your life is going to the gym from 12 morning till evening. Okay, so no, you will not do it because our testosterone level is very low. Okay, so we tend to develop muscles very much slower than men. So if I
Okay.
stand with a man of my age and eat the same diet, do the same weights, and for the same amount of time or duration, that person is going to develop muscles within one third of that duration. Whereas I will take three times more, to do that.
Okay.
So you don't have to bother about that. It is very important. Okay. So it is very healthy for your bones, your joints. So mix the cardio and strength.
And what should we do for mental strength? I mean, apart from doing the physical exercise, what else contributes to our capability of taking the mental stress of whatever stage we are in life, whether someone is looking for a job, whether someone is already a professional and not having much time, but they feel stressful somewhere in their life. So what can they do to release that stress
So,
or to
like
better
we,
manage that stress?
yeah, so stress management is in itself a very vast topic, but like we have already discussed that, you know, uh, micro habits is what is going to help you out. Okay. So we have to understand that when you're stressed out, okay, your body is sending a signal. What is the signal? Signal is that it is an overload to your system, right? So it is very important to understand that you need to take a break. Now, what happens when we talk of a break? ये नहीं कि अभी मैं एक महीने के लिए I have we let's go for a holiday or a vacation. No. So what you have to do is I'll tell you. You take micro breaks because stress is something which is internal and it is chronic. Okay,
Right.
because of various things. It can be personal, it can be professional. The pressure is always to be in a switched on mode. है ना? So what happens
Right.
is when this happens, we get stuck in a survival mode. है ना? हमारा मिशन मोड खत्म हो जाता है. हम आ जाते हैं सर्वाइवल मोड में कि बस अब कैसे हाउ टू गेट थ्रू दिस फेज सो वी स्टार्ट reacting very aggressively to situations which doesn't require, and all of this leads to a lot of fatigue, mental fatigue, decision fatigue, and emotional burnout. Okay,
Right.
so yeah, so like I said, it is basically a system overload. So we have to understand that instead of just being plugged in always, we have to have an off switch somewhere, so that our bodies are not always in a state of high alert. Okay, so this is not one time event, it is a daily maintenance habit. You have to work on it. So quick fixes, if I'll tell you in general, would be stop reacting to everything. Instead of that, take a deliberate pause and then respond. Okay, second is control the controllables like your effort. You can control it. Your schedule, you can control it. Your attitude, etc. These are all things you can control. So learn to control the controllables. There is no point worrying about things that you can't directly control. अभी इकोनॉमी हमारा जीडीपी ग्रोथ बहुत, अरे आप रिलैक्स, ओके चिल. यस यू कैन नॉट डायरेक्टली कंट्रोल इट, कैन यू? नो. सो अ नेचुरल डिजास्टर फॉर दैट मैटर, योर पास्ट, अब जो हो गया वो हो गया. कैन यू कंट्रोल दैट नाउ, व्हाट इज ऑलरेडी हैपेंड? एंड द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स जिसकी वजह से ज्यादातर हम लोग स्ट्रेस लेते हैं वो है योर अदर पीपल्स ओपिनियंस,
राइट।
their validation of you, your relationships, your finances, your lifestyle. कौन सी गाड़ी, कौन सा कपड़ा, कौन सा ब्रांड, कौन सा छुट्टी में कहाँ गए. I went for a holiday in Europe. अरे भैया, I went to Kerala. Okay, so don't compare. There's just let it go. Okay, don't get overwhelmed by this. So third, I would say is take micro breaks, छोटे छोटे breaks. Okay, because they are very powerful. This is more important than taking a long vacation to recover from stress. So it because the brain doesn't work that way, so it needs micro recoveries.
राइट।
So like 60 seconds of deep breathing, like I said earlier also. When it has been too much of sitting, just stand up and stretch after every 1 hour. Set a timer. ठीक है, हर घंटे में एक बार खड़े होकर थोड़ा सा स्ट्रेच कर लिया, थोड़ा सा मूव अराउंड कर लिया. ठीक है. सो बाय डूइंग दीज micro activities, what will happen is that there is a signal that is sent to your nervous system to calm down. It sends a signal saying that you're safe, there's nothing to worry about, because you're calmed down, your nervous system is calmed down, so your brain gets a signal, okay, everything is fine, everything is safe, so the stress level will decrease. So you really don't have to totally burn out कि बस अब तो मैं खत्म ही हो गया, अब मुझे जरूरत है ब्रेक का. No. Okay, so don't lead your body to that. And सबसे important है, which I say last but not the least, set professional boundaries. Otherwise, that comes to your home also, that stress. Now, learn the art of saying, like, assertive communication. Okay. Now, instead of saying just, saying yes to everything, being a yes man, just say no, and learn to say no in an assertive manner, wherein, and just take that fear of being judged or otherwise out of your system. And whenever and wherever it is required, learn to say a polite no and protect your time and your self-respect.
Nidhika, I'll ask you some questions. I had put some videos on my channel, and because there is so much of negativity that banking job is very stressful, and I had put this video where I said you cannot compare the kind of stress army people or defense people or doctors, for that matter, IS officers, they could go through. You cannot compare it with any kind of corporate job. And if if you say that there is stress even to the people who are in gig work, like बिग बास्केट अब 10 मिनट में आता है, मतलब अब
Hmm.
जब 10 मिनट डिलीवरी होती है, दे आर ऑल्सो स्ट्रेस, 10 मिनट में डिलीवरी करनी है.
थैंक
तो
गॉड वो
वो
खत्म हो गया अभी.
वो खत्म कर दिया, बट स्टिल कई बार फोन आते थे उनके कि
हाँ.
मैम 10 मिनट से ज्यादा लग जाएगा, आप मतलब डोंट कंप्लेन, थोड़ा टाइम लग जा रहा है. तो दे आर ऑल्सो इन सम काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेस, एंड एवरी वन इन देयर लाइफ, चाहे स्टूडेंट हो. अब लोग इस बात से भी स्ट्रेस में होते हैं बिकॉज इंस्टाग्राम देख रहे हैं, लोगों की लाइफ अच्छी चल रही है, उनकी जॉब
हम्म.
अच्छी चल रही है, किसी को जॉब मिल गया, किसी को नहीं मिला. सो देर आर सो मच ऑफ स्ट्रेस, मेंटल स्ट्रेस जो लोग ले रहे हैं.
हम्म.
तो व्हाट इज योर ओपिनियन ऑन दिस, कि किस तरीके से, बिकॉज दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ आवर लाइफ एंड दिस इज, यू हैव टू लर्न हाउ टू मैनेज इट. सो व्हाट इज योर ओपिनियन कि सोशल मीडिया एंड काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रेस आप लोगों ने लिया है, वो कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉयज फिर भी कम लेते हैं बिकॉज वी हैव टारगेट्स, वी हैव टू, लेकिन फ्रंट पर जाकर के लड़ाई करने का तो हमने सोचा भी नहीं है. सो सो हाउ यू मैनेज दैट मेंटल स्ट्रेस?
But like I always said, see, we have systems in place. You have to put systems in place, to manage all these kinds of things. So, uh, like, so in army, we have the system of, setting things in motion. There are established systems. Okay, so I will not compare like army with other institutions. Every institution is different, and one cannot, कोई नहीं कह सकते कि मेरी मुश्किल आपसे ज्यादा है. उसके stress is stress. ओके। अब वो ज्यादा है कम है, कौन कितना ले सकता है कौन कितना नहीं ले सकता है, दैट्स एन इंडिविजुअल थिंग। हाउएवर, since we have systems in place, it is taken care of in different manners. However, like we have already discussed, we need to do a lot of these micro habits. We need to take shorter breaks. We need to be mindful, and firstly is get over the, like you yourself mentioned, the biggest stressor nowadays is the social media. We need to just get over this habit. It's that quick hit of dopamine. Yeah, getting my point?
Right.
That addiction needs to be broken. Nowadays, क्या हो गया, हमको सब कुछ अभी चाहिए. There's a frenzy over this. So we are all falling prey to this. Everything we want now, just now,
Right.
everything. अभी ही हमको, so हर everything, we need instant gratification from things now. Right? Now, if you see, we used to watch one episode in an entire week of one series, right? There
Right.
was one Chitrahar, then cable came. Okay, ठीक है, थोड़ा सा वो हो गया. Content was still more available, but then still there were days. Okay, Sunday को सिर्फ ये आएगा, cartoon show, Tails and Spin, and वो जो भी आता था, we guys used to watch. And then, so we had something to look forward to. Now,
Right.
पूरा का पूरा series available on Netflix. एक महीने में
Anytime.
movie, if you have missed going to the movie theater, the movie is there on an OTT platform. ठीक है. तो अगर आप ये देखो तो instant gratification is what is killing us and creating more stress. Right?
Right.
One is that. So एक तो सोशल मीडिया का जो चीप डोपामिन वो है, इफेक्ट है, जो हमको एक सेटिस्फैक्शन देता है, एक हिट देता है, एक हाई में लेके जाता है, दैट नीड्स टू गेट ओवर विद. ओके, वी नीड टू get more inclined towards deep satisfaction of an achievement, work on that. Okay, and we need to focus on things that matter. Right,
Right.
before clicking on any icon on your phone, you have to know, why am I hitting, why am I clicking on this icon? Am I here to learn something, to get some knowledge, or am I here just because I'm getting bored? It
Right.
is because of these reasons. Firstly, all human connections are getting lost.
Right.
Right? So be present for yourself and for the people you love. Half of the stress will go. Prioritize your work. Manage, because if you prioritize your work, you will manage your time. Because time management, if you're not able to manage your time, it will lead to stress. Okay?
Right.
And then it is going to affect your habits. Right? So everything is connected to each other, interconnected, right? We spoke of discipline, we spoke of, so the time management, your discipline lead to time management will lead to reduction in stress, you see. So
Correct.
just know when to keep your phone down, when to pay attention to who you are supposed to pay attention to. So, and do mindfulness activities, move your body. That's very important, right?
Second question then that I'm asked is when I put this video that why I left SBI. So a question I get from many women is why women have to compromise on their career. So what is your opinion on it?
Okay. Now, this is a default in our system. Okay, we are by say default the caregiver. Okay, that role has been given to us. है ना? And it's going to take many, many, many years for the factory reset, but it is eventually going to happen, and hopefully it happens, because things are looking, people have perceptions have changed. Okay, men
Right.
are extending helping hand, and we are also as mothers being responsible, since we have seen things. I have two sons. I'm trying to raise my sons so that they understand the struggle of tomorrow. They'll have a partner, so they understand what mama is going through. So it is our responsibility also to ensure that the men that we have brought to this world are being raised right. Right.
Right.
So, as a society, I would say that even in the current scenario, despite everything, so much of gyan available everywhere, and so much of things that are coming to focus, despite that, we're still working on a very antiquated manual, that says कि भैया घर जो है वही, it is the woman's primary responsibility, and her career is just an add-on. Right? So,
Right.
हाँ, so जब भी बच्चा बीमार हो गया, an elderly needs to take care, a woman will leave everything, and the first default person expected to be there is always the woman. Right? So, and ये नहीं कि हम वो automatically मतलब करना चाह रहे हैं, or we want to compromise. It is that system around us has been built in such a manner, it doesn't provide any alternative to us. Right? So it is a sort of, you can say, a documented bias where mothers are seen as less committed to work Therefore, they are the ones who have to often opt out of jobs or their workplaces, because their workplaces make it clear in different ways, that you're not an asset anymore. It gets conveyed to you in different manner. It's not a direct thing. Nobody can say that now we don't require you anymore, that now you're a mom, you're redundant to us. But in subtle ways, it is conveyed to us that you're not an asset, you're redundant. So even when we say we are very progressive, the ones who claim to be very progressive, modern, educated, like in modern households, even there, women are carrying the load, mental load, right?
Right,
Despite having maids and things to do everything and all, टिफिन में क्या जाएगा, खाना क्या बनेगा, ब्रेकफास्ट क्या बनेगा, लंच क्या बनेगा, जो बनना है उसका सामान क्या, the whole logistics. See, today if the maid has not come, how to work through this. So the whole logistics is also taking a mental load on. Okay.
right,
Now, so we can keep saying we are very progressive here. Things are changing. It is going to take time. So basically, women are managing two full-time jobs, right? One is paid and one is unpaid, right? So ये बार बार इतना लंबा period में, if we keep doing this continuously over a period of time, it leads to total burnout, right?
right,
So yeah, so we have nothing left to give, and when we have nothing left to give, say, what do? We quit. We quit our careers. We just choose to survive, isn't it? So it's more survival than कि भैया कुछ तो, everything is taking toll on us. So and then social conditioning ऐसा है कि the guilt comes in. If I
right,
don't do it, then we're very emotional creatures, and then the conditioning throughout generations has been such that the guilt, it consumes us. So that is also one reason, but it's a long run process. Hoga, but we have to move on. Me move beyond the why. Now it is high
right,
time to stop asking this question of why we must compromise, why women must compromise, and we have to start asking why are we not, how to build a world
right.
where they don't have to compromise. So maybe a separate podcast on it.
And do you think that women, when they are joining their career, they should be flexible enough, resilient enough that they can switch from career to career? Because I mean, job to job, or switching different kind of routes. Like I started from banking, now I shifted to as a finance educator. I'm doing this podcast now. So I think we should also be little bit of flexible in that manner, which can add to, I mean, have best of both worlds.
So here now, Soumya, I'll say something. पहले तो when we are working, we're working towards one. उस time पे see, okay,
And we
25,
don't.
yeah, 25 years back, I wanted something different.
Right,
My priorities were different. My attitude, my perception, my maturity, everything was different at that time. So I said, okay, I want to be in finance. Okay.
right.
I was working towards a finance career and then army happened and it was a total this thing. Okay. So what happened was that, okay, fine, I joined army. Okay. So now you are living in the present. मैंने नहीं सोचा कि मेरा बच्चा होगा तो उसके बाद मैं क्या करूंगी.
Hmm.
Never thought about it. You're working there and you wanted to do your best and give your best in that profession. Okay. You did that. Then you got married, or probably you have things didn't change after marriage much, but after the children, it starts happening. Okay. So when it starts happening, then you had to take certain calls to step back. Then you took a call. Then also one had not thought कि अब क्या करना है. You're still living in the present. ओके एंड देन सिंस यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस यू कॉन्फिडेंट, हाँ ठीक है, कुछ कॉन्फिडेंट है. बट जब आप बहुत लंबा घर में बैठ जाते हो, उसका वो कॉन्फिडेंस भी कहीं ना कहीं कम होना शुरू हो
कम
जाता है.
होने लग जाता है.
Yeah, then you start doubting yourself. Then imposter syndrome sets in, and then so there are a lot of things happen. So when you say, should we be prepared? I cannot say that. Now, I don't have a daughter. So had I had a daughter, could have I told her कि बेटा be prepared, तेरी शादी होने वाली है, या तू हो सकता है तू आज ये कर रही है, तू कल को नहीं करेगी. No, that will be very unfair on my part to, put that bias in her mind.
Right.
Maybe she's just passionate about एडवेंचर. शील से नहीं, मैं तो एडवेंचर स्पोर्ट्स ही करूंगी. अब चाहे मेरा बच्चा हो, चाहे शादी हो, चाहे मैं वो ना भी करूं, मैं वही करूंगी. तो कैन यू चेंज हर एट 30? नो. कैन यू चेंज हर एट 40? नो, बिकॉज शी इज डिसाइडेड. But then there are people who will do pivot, and it is not just about women. There are so many men who pivot.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So do certain they take on certain profession for a few years and they finally see, okay, that this is not working out for me. Let me try something else. So no one is prepared here, you can say. But as far as flexibility is concerned, here is where this resilient mindset, this is what we spoke about, and the courage to do something new.
Right.
Develop that. Yes, I'm ready to face something challenging now because that's a challenge for you in your life, changing something, right? So that is how you can take on. So courage, your discipline, again, everything falls into place. These are
Falls
like
into place.
pieces of those puzzle, that will fall into place once you. So आप कंडीशन नहीं कर सकते इस चीज को. आप अपने आप को सिर्फ प्रिपेयर कर सकते हो ना, कि अगर कुछ ऐसा होगा तो यस आई एम रेडी टू टेक ऑन. ठीक है.
And there are so many options. I mean, the third question which I wanted to ask, जो frequently मेरे से पूछा जाता है, is regarding various options which they have. So do
हम्म.
you think because of so many options right now, मतलब हमारे टाइम पे इतने ऑप्शंस ही नहीं हुआ करते थे, अभी जितने ऑप्शंस हैं, अभी जो जेंजी है या फिर कमिंग जनरेशन्स है, दे हैव सो मच ऑफ ऑप्शंस. दे आर इनटू दिस डिसीजन फटीग कि वो कोई भी डिसीजन ही नहीं ले पाते किसी चीज में. So how do I mean focus on something?
So here I'll just say one the problem of plenty ना. तो when you go online also or when you walk into a mall you don't know कि कहाँ से कपड़ा एक शर्ट लेने जाते हो आपको समझ नहीं आता. There's a problem of plenty, तो decision paralysis हो जाता है.
Right,
या
right.
समझ नहीं आता. ओके. So here is where you have to understand firstly कि वही what when and how, कि मतलब आपको क्या, what is it that you're looking at, okay, what is it that interests you, what is it that you are good at, okay. So what you start doing is elimination method.
Elimination method, right.
So you do that. I would advise to go through that. Now, since I'm not an educational counselor or something, they would probably be able to do that better because they're into that field.
Right.
However, I can generally speak because we see that happening all around and I
Yeah,
prepare
this is
candidates.
just I'm talking about very general thing. Even
Yeah.
leaders feel this
So,
that sometimes they are unable to take a decision on
yeah.
what they want to do.
So
So
yeah, so like I meet so many people who have probably done their MBAs because I also do corporate to use campus to corporate programs. Okay, so if you see, I see that a lot of is this a people are still doubtful. Is this the right thing for me to do and everything? I said now since you have taken a step towards it, prepare for it.
right,
Okay, that's what I say. I said now you have taken a leap. Okay, now you there is no going back. So just
correct.
prepare yourself for it. So one is that. Second is I would say कि एक तो वो process of elimination. पहले तो है ना वो करोगे आपके पास तो आपके पास चॉइसेस रिड्यूस हो जाएंगी.
Hmm.
फिर उनमें से कि आप ढूंढो कि ये मैं अगर करता हूं तो क्यों कर रहा हूं मैं ये, व्हाई एम आई डूइंग दिस,
Why?
इफ आई
What
वांट
is
टू.
my why? Why? Right.
व्हाई. राइट. सो आस्क योरसेल्फ व्हाई. इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू आंसर टू दैट व्हाई, ठीक है, देन आई वुड से डोंट, प्लीज जस्ट डोंट गो अहेड. द मोमेंट यू आर एबल टू इमीडिएटली आंसर कि क्यों, जस्ट बिकॉज इट्स नॉट कि जस्ट बिकॉज इट इज साउंडिंग नाइस सो आई विल डू इट. आई वॉन्ट टू बिकम एन इन्फ्लुएंसर. अभी उस इन्फ्लुएंसर ने करना क्या है, वीडियो बनाना क्या है. आप
Right.
क्या खाना अच्छा बनाते हो, आप डांस अच्छा करते हो, गाना अच्छा गाते हो, आप ट्रैवल ज्यादा करते हो, आप क्या करोगे.
Correct.
ये गेटिंग माई पॉइंट. सो ये प्रोसेस ऑफ एलिमिनेशन एंड वाई बहुत जरूरी है. आपने एक बार वाई का जवाब दे दिया है ना, सो यू विल गेट द क्लैरिटी ऑटोमेटिकली. सो आई वुड एडवाइज देम टू डू दैट एंड देन वाई भी जवाब दे दिया तो फिर आप करोगे हाउ एंड व्हेन.
Correct. So you have to answer your why, how, and when. These questions, if you have answered, you'll get your answer.
तो पता
And
चले आई वांट टू बी एन आर्मी ऑफिसर बट आई डोंट वांट टू डू दैट फिजिकल ट्रेनिंग. ये तो फिर आप फौजी नहीं बन सकते ना, है ना.
exactly.
आपको रगड़ा खाना पड़ेगा फौजी बनने के लिए, ठीक है. तो अगर आप बोलो कि नहीं मैं तो नहीं, ये तो नहीं, वो तो नहीं, है ना, ऐसा कैसा कोई और तरीका है क्या. यू गेटिंग
Hmm.
माई पॉइंट. द मोमेंट यू स्टार्ट आस्किंग ऑल्टरनेटिव्स, दैट मीन्स यू आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट थिंग. तो उसको स्ट्राइक आउट कर दो आप.
Right. और एक अब लास्ट ऑलमोस्ट लास्ट क्वेश्चन थोड़ा सा कंट्रोवर्शियल है. आर वी हेडिंग टुवर्ड्स अ वॉर?
Yeah, it's not that controversial, but one can say that because it's a very sensitive matter. Okay.
Yeah, this is a
So,
sensitive matter. That's why
yeah.
I said that it may be controversial, but
Hmm.
just because I'm a mother, I want to know
Okay. So,
what.
yeah, when you see this whole, across the globe things happening, yeah, and then recently we've just had Op Sindoor, and so, yeah, obviously such thoughts get triggered, and it is just normal. It is okay. But here I would really want to tell you that, see, analysts are very clear on this. There is not going to be in the coming future, it's not going to be a full scale, immediate future, a full scale conventional war. No, it is unlikely because
Okay.
it is going to lead to the risk of nuclear escalation. That is not
Okay.
going to happen. Now you're
Hmm.
seeing Ukraine and Russia, they are not using this thing, and everybody's intervening between them is because they don't want it leads to any nuclear interference. Right? So
Right.
you see, there is a whole lot of thing towards it, and you could say that. The ongoing situation, the current scenario is more intense. It is, yeah, the conflicts are ongoing, but they are in specific pockets.
Right.
Rather than one large uniform conflict, they're in specific pockets. Our country is very strong. Our stance internationally has been very strong, and our defense forces are fully prepared to take on any challenge. I would also, request people to be a little more responsible. And as responsible citizens, we have to ensure that we should not be spreading any panic, and we should totally avoid fear mongering.
This is,
So,
and what is your message to everyone? I mean, aspirants, professionals, the last message.
okay, so I'll just say simply, see, life is not a cakewalk. Yes, definitely. It is, it will definitely find a way to test you, but you don't have to feel small at all. You might feel stuck in your job, maybe overwhelmed by a personal problem, or just worried about the world around us, like we discussed. But in those moments, just don't feel small. Okay? Don't try to fix the whole world at once. Start with the person you see in the mirror for the first time in the morning. Every morning when you wake up, stand in front of the mirror. That is the person you need to start with. Take care of your health. Dress in a way that makes you feel proud. Learn one new thing. Okay. And keep the promises that you make to yourself. S- And I would say stand a little taller and believe in your own worth.
Right. Thank you so much, Nidhika, for this particular session. I'm so much in awe of this particular session because I've learned so much from this, and I hope everyone who's watching today's session will actually gain a lot from this. And with this, wishing you a very happy Republic Day, a happy Republic Day to all the citizens and all the defense personnel who are working in army. What you guys have done, we can't even think of. And it's always great to have you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we look forward to having more sessions with you. We have a lot to learn from you.
Thank you so much for inviting me over once again, Soumya. And I'm really feeling the gratitude for you having considered me to be a guest, a worthy of being a guest. And yeah, it is not just army people. Every citizen, every individual citizen is doing their individual bit to contributing to the nation. So everyone deserves, a praise for being there for their country. So thank you so much and a happy Republic Day to you as well.